Caviar, tricky beans. You deserve nothing but all the finer things. Now this whole world has no clue what to do. Got enough money in the bank for the two. Welcome, Jay Henry, to Champagne and Conversations. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, thank you, sir, for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the oh so talented Jay Henry, better known also as The Journal, and I'm sure he'll explain all of that great energy to us. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes. So, how did you get the name The Journal? Did you name yourself that, or was that something?
No. The journal came with myself and my producer, Herb Middleton. Herb and I met during the pandemic and during the course of our getting to know each other, knowing me as a singer and a saxophonist, like music, kind of differentiate the two.
Okay.
I know you're known as Jay Henry, but especially when it comes to the singing, your style and your.
I'm gonna stop you just a second. It sounds like there's a noise in the back. Do you have headphones on, or are you talking through a speaker?
It's talking through a speaker. Is this better?
Okay, it's a lot better. Yes, I didn't want anyone to miss what you're saying, but we probably need you to start over. Sorry.
All right. So what I was saying is that I came from my producer, Herb Middleton. We met during the pandemic, and what happened was he was listening to my music because I'm a saxophonist as well as a vocalist, and it's such a contrast between my playing and my singing that he kind of wanted to differentiate the two.
Okay.
And because of my style of singing, it's more like an open book. He wanted to make it like a play off of my name as well, which my name is Journal. So we were like, we're going to call you The Journal. So that's how we wound up coming up with that. It's kind of my alter ego, so to say.
Okay, all right. So shout out to Herb Middleton, friends of the show. We've had producer, songwriter on. Everyone knows him from our '90s hits with Miss Mary J. Blige, Queen of R&B. So yes, thank you so much for sharing the name that you have gotten from Herb Middleton. And now, of course, talent recognizes talent, and
thank you.
You have done a phenomenal job. I actually had the opportunity to click some of your lives that you have been putting up. And before I go into that, share your social media so everyone maybe can go and take a look at that while we're talking or even after.
Absolutely. Jay Henry Live. The letter J, Henry Live. That's it, yeah. And what is the YouTube link for this?
Okay, so the YouTube link is Champagne and Conversations. And we should be live there, and then it'll live in that space forever, so they can go actually afterwards and take a look at it as well. But Champagne and Conversations on YouTube.
All right.
Yes. So let's talk about your talented. Well, first question I have for you is, how many horns do you play?
I play there's more than 4 saxophones, but I play all of the saxophones.
I see you play all of them. So
there's a total of about 7 of them, but I play alto, soprano, and tenor primarily.
Okay. So, and which one do you like the best?
It depends on the song. And it depends on what I want to do for the song. If I just want to tease you and sweet talk you, I'm going to pull out my soprano. But if I really want to, seduce you and just, make you squirm and squiggly, I'm going to pull out that alto.
Yeah. You pull out which one is that?
The alto.
Okay. All right. You had a dope live, and you were doing My, Johnny Gill, and you were doing a Sierra song. I think it was
Body Party.
yep. And you, that is my song. And you did, I want to say a new edition, Can You Stand the Rain?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was like 30 minutes of just, I had a cocktail and sat, and I mean, it was so good. And I said, I have got to ask you, what got you into musicianship? Is it in your family, or what were you doing?
Well, I've always been into music since a child. Um, my uncles were all DJs, so
Okay.
music was always around. But next door to us, I had a cousin who was a keyboardist. And, every day I would hear him from my room. Our rooms were adjacent, kind of, sort of. So if you open the windows, you could hear him across the street, not across the street, but next to the house,
Right.
playing the keyboard. So it would always intrigue me. And every time I heard the keyboard light up, I'd run next door, and I'm sure it probably drove him. But it really inspired me to play. And my stepmother's brother was a musician in New Orleans.
Okay.
And I told him I wanted to play the saxophone, not even knowing what one was. It just so happened he was a band teacher, so he had a bunch of instruments and he was a saxophonist. So he gave me my first saxophone at 9 years old. From
Which one
the
was that?
moment
Not the
I
alto,
started
I hope.
playing, yes, it was the alto.
Oh no, you were cutting up young.
Yes, now I believe by the time I was 10 or 11, I started doing solos in church and stuff like that.
Okay.
And once I really realized that women loved the horn, it was a wrap then. I didn't have this voice then, so, it was strictly with the sax. So I began listening to the radio and developing my ear and whatever I heard, playing what I heard. And then by the time I was in middle school, I was playing professionally.
Nice. Yes, it is so, so good. And now, is that your entire band, or do you just sit in with a house band?
No, I have my own band. I call them Evolutionary, full band. If you saw a clip in a small place, it's probably a piece of my band, doing a jam session or whatnot. But yes, I do have my own band. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful musicians.
Yes.
Yeah, they make me
Yes.
sound good.
So dope. Yes, it was a good time. And actually, I may post a clip of what I was just speaking of, guys, once we're done. But okay, so you mentioned your voice, so that is obviously the next major thing on the list. Let's talk about that voice. When did that begin to develop?
Now, let me tell you the funny story about this.
Yes.
It's 1989. I'm 8 years old. Quincy Jones makes this project, Back to the Block, I believe it is.
Okay.
And on that album is Al B. Sure, James Ingram, Elder Barge, and Barry White. So I happened to be watching this award show one night. I'll never forget it, my twin brother and I. And I see this big man tell me a secret. I don't just want to know any secret, but I want to know a very special secret. And I'm like, whoa, I won't sound like that.
My
And
gosh.
lo and behold, I believe my first year of middle school, um, probably halfway through, wake up one morning, and I sound like this. And this around the time Practice What You Preach comes out. Now, I don't know too much about Barry White. I just knew I wanted to sound like that.
Okay.
But then when Practice What You Preach came out, I'm like, oh, that's who that guy was. So I started imitating him. Like, so what do you want to do? I'm here, baby. I'm ready, baby. I'm ready for you. So it was funny. Like, now I've had my share of lovers. Some say I'm down there. So, doing that kind of stuff. And I'm a toothpick at the time. And, calling girls' houses and the parents don't believe I'm 13 or 14.
Right.
Oh man, no man. And then when they see me, the voice don't match the face. It was crazy as a child. But around 14, the voice started changing. Uh, they say speak those things that are not as though they are. And that was one thing I spoke into existence. And I had no idea that women loved that at the time because I was 8 years old.
Okay.
But when I discovered, that women love a man with a nice voice, it was a wrap after that.
It was a
Yeah.
wrap after
So yeah,
that.
you get the confidence and you learn to rap and everything. You learn the roll with it. So
I think you
yeah.
had a little added bonus because there's not too many that sound like that. So right, you had that swag for sure.
Oh yeah.
Now, were you macking the older women, or you still were the ones your age?
Well, at 14 and 15, I was my age and maybe a little older. But by the time I was 16, they were in their 20s.
And they say, "Sing for me, talk to me
Oh
nice."
yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
that is so cool. And then when was your first singing engagement with that voice?
Well, I've never, believe it or not, I had a singing group, my twin brother and I.
Okay.
I never really sang in my baritone voice until recently,
Really?
the last probably 2 or 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, because I was always, so to say, vocal coach
Okay.
and vocal arranger.
Uh-huh.
So, and believe it or not, my twin brother, who's the first tenor, I always envied his voice. So I would, I never was singing. I would always hide behind him and play the sax. So I just got tired of it because I'm like, you know what, I got this voice and everybody keep telling me you need to do this, you need to do that. So I just gave it a shot, you know.
Yeah.
But
Shots you
I would
did. And look
always
at the win.
sing around and sing in falsetto and stuff like that. So, but once I really started doing this and found my voice, as most people say, it really got good, man.
It really got good. Yes,
Oh
and I
yeah.
noticed that in your set, you stopped playing the saxophone, whatever one that is, and then you start singing. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the people in the audience have to be going crazy because that vibe is so strong. So, what is it like in the jazz clubs? You do primarily kind of the small, intimate settings, or are you doing
Well,
large
the
arenas
the
too?
things you see, it's a jam session I host. And
Okay.
I primarily started that during the pandemic because we weren't working.
Yeah.
So, we weren't going to make money, but it didn't make sense to let our chops deteriorate either.
Sure. Sure.
And there's certain people that like that. And I do the big stages, don't get me wrong, but it's something about the intimate stages, because everybody can't do that. And to me, if you want to really test your creativity and your artistry, you have to get in that intimate space. It's like comedians. Um, Most comedians, they do small clubs before they tour to work on their material, because you're going to get the most honest reaction with those few people than you will with the big crowds. And believe it or not, the big crowds is the easiest thing to do. It's those small
Okay.
intimate clubs that make it. But I love doing them. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Just that one-on-one, and you can make eye contact, and
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know what to say what that's like, but that's a lot. That vibe is intense. We'll leave it there just because it's
oh
still
yeah,
early.
oh yeah,
After dark, we'd call it something else.
sure, yeah.
Um, yes, absolutely. So give us a story of a show, someone runs up on the stage, someone grabs you, somebody, I don't want to say throws something at you that's
Well, I've had.
garments.
I was just telling this story the other day because people wonder why I travel with a bodyguard. I have a bodyguard that literally goes everywhere with me, and everybody like, "You're not even a superstar. What are you?" I'm like, "You have no idea the the stuff that we deal with. You know, I've had women try to wrap their legs around my neck. I've had women flash me with no underwear on. One time I had she was real inebriated. She came on stage trying to hug on me and dance on me. Now, typically, as an artist, you're not too worried about that as long as they're respectful. But my bodyguard's trying to pull her down, and he's like, "Get off!" And I'm trying to wave him off, like, "Nah, she's fine." But what he saw that I didn't see, she had a guy in the back that was looking real mad and stuff like that. Of course, I'm worried about the show, so I'm not thinking about none of that. And
Right.
he had to tell me after the show, "This is why I was trying to tell you that." And I was like, "Oh, well, let me let you do your job," you know. So I get that kind of stuff. We go places, and as soon as I say hello, we start getting free stuff or whatnot. Oh, I'm gonna take you from your wife, and we get a whole
What do you
bunch.
say? Say hello.
Hello. No, I don't say hello. Hey, baby. Now, being you say
See, you
baby all the
playing.
time. Like that's the word baby is like a term of endearment in New Orleans. That's all we say. I'm from New Orleans, so
Okay.
baby is automatically in my vocabulary.
Uh-huh.
And, uh, they say it's exotic the way we say baby, and on top of that, having a bass baritone voice, it kind of makes it even worse. And then I'm a charmer by nature, so it don't hurt. It don't help the situation.
That's a triple threat. You cutting up,
Yeah, so,
making it real difficult for people to focus. That's just triple threat. So, yeah. So when you're out, you're going through those things in terms of your activities and such. Now, where would you like to perform that you have not so far? I can't hear you.
it's not so much venues beyond because I've toured. I toured with 6 years for 6 years with Sinbad,
Okay.
and I've done almost every historic uh, theater and hall that you can do. Is just events such as Grammys and BET Awards, those kind of events. I don't know if there's a Soul Trains Award anymore. I kind of don't keep up with them. I would love to do Essence Music Festival again.
Sure.
Those kind of things. And at this point, even more so, it's people that I want to work with. You
Yes.
know,
Who would they
I,
be? That was my next
yes,
question.
I've been blessed so far. Right now, as we speak, I have a single out with Lenny Williams, Glenn Jones, and Jay King from Club Nouveau. I have
Okay.
a single out with them right now, All Your Love. It's on Jay King's Soulful Bossa Nova album. Make sure you check it out. I
Okay. We'll
work
have to
with
find
Tony
that. So,
Terry.
okay.
I work with Tony Terry, Gary Jenkins from Silk, Dwayne Wiggins, Twinkie Clark, Marvin Sapp, Bishop Paul Morton, PJ Morton, Don DC Curry, comedian Rodney Perry, Howard Hewitt, um, so many, but the wish list: Fantasia, Gladys Knight, Shaka, Stephanie Mills, um, Frankie, Frankie Beverly. Um, um,
Okay.
I've even worked with Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind, and Fire, who's one of my mentors. Who else? Wish list: Earth, Wind, and Fire. The entire group. I would love to work with them. Want to work with the OJ's. So a lot of those old school groups. Of course, like I said, Fantasia, new. I love to work with Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with Kiki Wyatt, but I'd love to record with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Jasmine Sullivan?
Oh my God. Yes, I'd love to work with her. See,
Yeah, y'all supposed.
those are singers,
Yeah.
and you like to work with those guys. You know,
Yeah.
I'm I have an old school voice, and there's nothing I can do about that. You know what
Soulful.
I mean? Yeah, I have that 60s, 70s voice, you know, so I'd like to work with those singers, you know.
Singers. Yes. And so y'all can sing. Yes, I think that's super dope. And you probably can go ahead and just start mixing in with those people because that doesn't sound like something that wouldn't happen in the next year or so. So I
I
think
was
that
thinking.
yeah, yeah, I think you can pretty much put that in the works because those are some amazing artists, especially Frankie Beverly because he's always touring. Um, so yeah,
I'll tell you a funny story. Sinbad cussed me out one time. I met Frankie Beverly, what, right before the pandemic.
okay,
He wound up coming to one of my shows. And we hung out afterward and talked. And then maybe 2, 3 days later, his goddaughter calls me and says, me and Frankie together, he wants to hang out with you. So, of course, I stopped everything I was doing immediately and went with Frankie. And we hung out at this spot and we just talking. He's dropping a lot of jewels and he's telling me, I'm going to be in your home state this Saturday. You ought to come hang out. And I said, oh man, I'm on the road with Sinbad this weekend. So I told Sinbad, and Sinbad, are you out of your
I
mind?
was gonna say he
I
didn't
said,
let you
what?
go.
He said, Negro, that's Frankie Beverly. I
Yes.
said, Sinbad. He said, I don't care. You good with me. That's a once in a lifetime offer. I said, well, I gave you my back on my word. So that was the situation with that, but it was so funny, you know. But I mean, hey, if it's meant to be, it'll come around again. But
Wow, yeah, you should have taken that. I'm with Sinbad on that. We know your word. We got it, but go.
yeah, but it was definitely an experience. And Frank is so cool. I've talked to him a couple times since then. He's such a great guy. Hopefully, when he's in Atlanta in the future, he'll be here soon. We can get together and hang out again.
Yes.
But that was a funny story. But integrity wouldn't allow me to do that. I don't. If I give my word for something, I'm going to stick to my word. So that's the one thing about me. But it was a funny situation that he was like, he looked at me like, "Are you serious?"
Right, right. Like we'll give you a pass on that. It's totally fine. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. And where were you all with when you were with Sinbad?
This particular week, we were in Huntsville, Alabama, at this place called Stand Up Live. This time, yeah.
Yeah. Have you
Don't
performed at
forget it.
House of Blues?
House of Blues. Which one?
Well, is there one in New Orleans? Because I know.
Yes, there is one
Okay.
in New Orleans. No, I haven't done House of Blues. It was Hard Rock Cafe I did.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another nice venue. And then of course there's Vegas, and
Oh
I
yeah,
believe
we're
there's
working
another.
on those.
And I think there's one in Atlanta also. But yeah, they have some nice venues, and they're all like
Yeah.
really quaint, even though they're a little larger. But all the
Yeah.
seats are great. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The last time I went to the House of Blues, and good God, we're talking 20 years. I went to see Music Soul Child, and
Did you?
yeah, I'll tell you how long ago it was. It was him and Jaguar Wright.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that long ago.
But
We're
it was a
talking
dope
2000.
concert, right?
Yeah, oh my God, it was a great
Yeah.
concert. Yeah, it was 2002, 2003, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a wonderful concert.
Neo soul to the core.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone in the Neo Soul family? I mean, I know you went soulful all together, but just like Erica Badu or Jill Scott, anyone like that?
I love them, and one I'm definitely trying to work with is Angie Stone.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Angie. I love Jill too. Don't get me wrong. I play a lot of her music. I'd be honored to work with any of them. It's not
Okay.
too many people I wouldn't work with. You know what I mean? As long as it's good music and as long as it's not promoting anything demeaning. I just, I want to push love. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your next, do you have new music coming out? I know you just mentioned that you have, well, and can you share that single again, just so if anyone missed it, they can go take
Yes.
stream
It's
it?
J. King, All Your Love.
All your love.
J. King, All Your Love, featuring Lenny Williams, Glenn Jones, and Jay Henry, which is myself. Um, Right now, I have Ecstasy out, my remake of Ecstasy with Herb Middleton.
Yes.
Real excited about that. And real soon, I should be having a song that Marlon McClain and I worked on. And it's called Come See Me.
Okay.
Real nice vibe. And hopefully we'll be finishing up the Conversation project this week. Not this week, but this year. Was a real good project that we were working on, that we are working on. And I was so glad to meet Herb because he was able to add a different dimension. You know, and you want to have a lot of dimensions so it breaks up the monotony of the sound of the album.
Sure.
And he's such a masterful producer and arranger. So you know, people like him and a lot of other producers who are legendary, you love to meet and work with them because they've forgotten more than you know.
All right.
And the wealth of knowledge and experience is invaluable to us as artists, especially if we listen.
Sure.
So,
and the project is called Conversation?
Conversation, yes.
Okay.
And, the reason it's titled that because I wanted to want to bring conversation back to music. I think that's what's missing in music. The vulnerability, the honesty, the hurt, the integrity, you know, just being able to have dialogue between two people and to express oneself from an honest point of view, you know, not gimmicky, not fad oriented, but just to be honest and say, this is how I feel, or this is what you mean to me, or I'm sorry, or I love you. You know, I think that art's lost, and it made me say this is definitely time for me to do something.
So when you say conversation, do you mean like Teddy Pendergrass talking while the track is going, or do you mean just a conversation about the song?
Oh no, I do a lot of, as they used to call it back in the day, rapping. Yes, I do a lot of talking. I'm definitely, you know, part of me is carrying that Barry legacy.
Okay.
But with my style, you know. So I do a lot of talking in the records. Oh yeah.
Talking in the records, guys. And if you all aren't familiar, of course, we posted the flyer, but Ecstasy is the remake that Jay Henry did do, and it is from Barry White for those of you that may be a little younger and not familiar, but it's spot on, definitely. It's
Thank you.
all of it.
So it's so funny. I'll never forget Herb called me with Barry's oldest daughter, Denise, on the line, right? As soon as I answered the phone, she was like, "Oh my God, you sound like my daddy." I'm like, "Oh shoot." If his daughter that told me, can't nobody tell me nothing.
That's right.
She was real floored, and she's so sweet. Her name's Denise. She's one of the sweetest people you ever meet.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I'm sure it's an honor for her to hear you doing the remix of the song with her father. And it's of course that it sounds so much like him. So
yeah,
that's carrying the legacy in a sense. And if
oh yeah,
blessing, yeah. So dope.
because nobody's doing it now, you know, and those, you know, even though I do the tribute thing, even though I do the tributes, there's nobody doing original music in that style. And to me, that's the best way to keep the legacy, you know. There's nothing new with music, and somebody's going to always sound like somebody. Just like, you know, when Barry came out, they compared him to Isaac Hayes. They thought Barry was trying to bite Isaac with two different styles. But with that, like I said, there's Isaac's gone, Barry's gone, Marvin Jr.'s gone from the Dills, Teddy P's gone. There's nobody really carrying that legacy.
Right.
So, you know, I think it needs to be carried, and I think it needs to be expounded upon.
Yes.
So, you know, and that's what I want to do. And I think that, well, not think so much, but I've learned there's a want for it.
Yeah, especially since we've been going through this pandemic, we were searching for this soulful, comforting, mood music to be able to just relax, come down off of anxieties and all that great stuff. So it
Oh, yeah.
was a good time to do the remix and to come out with your baritone voice that you said you
Oh,
had
yeah.
not used prior. So you guys were spot on with that. Speaking of that, you did a tribute, and it was for both Barry White and for Luther Vandross.
Oh, we just did it Sunday past. Yes, myself and
How was it?
it was wonderful. We had a great time. The audience loved it. Danny killed Luther as usual. If you ever get a chance, check him out, Danny Clay. He's coming
Okay.
to a city near you.
Okay. Danny Clayton.
We had my
Okay.
twin brother open the show. His name is Creole King. Y'all check him out, Creole King. Wonderful vocalist, and we just had a great time. Great crowd, great audience. Everything was A1. Snatchcation Promotions did a great job putting the show on. It was just world class.
Yes, it sounded like it was, and of course,
Yeah.
both of those legends is that had to have been a total night. Now, growing up, who were some of your influences musically?
Ooh. Growing up, believe it or not, Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Okay.
since I was like 9 or 10 years old. And it just so happened I had the chance to meet them and see them almost every year and be mentored by some of the guys, some of the original guys in the group. I've been enamored by them, like I said, since I was 10 years old, since I heard Reasons for the first time.
Yes.
Philip Bailey's voice. Um, who else? My Uncle Pierre, who gave me my first saxophone. My cousin Harvey Johnson, who I would hear playing the keyboards. Greg Dawson, Brian Graber, who was my high school band teacher. Kenny G, who once I got to like middle school, I became enamored with and wanted to learn. Gerald
Oh,
Albright, Kurt Whalum, Grover Washington, Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, who's my favorite singer, Barry White, the Dells, the Dramatics. I love Jodeci. I love Mary J. I love Luther, Peebo, Brian McKnight. So many different people.
so many. Oh my gosh. You just
Michael
put a whole
McDonald.
playlist together.
Yeah. Jackie Pond, Aretha, Gladys, Patty, Stephanie Mills. Who Lord knows I really want to meet that woman. There's something about Stephanie Mills. I will sing Feel the Fire with her.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes, she is a whole a body of energy. It appears she
yeah,
was just here. I'm
yeah.
in Virginia. She just performed here. I want to say a weekend or so ago, and I heard that was amazing also. So yeah, she has not lost a step, a vocal, anything. She
No.
is still amazing. Yes.
And I just like, I love a singer. And
Hmm.
I don't, a lot of people don't understand what a singer is. You look at your Stephanie, you look at your Jasmine Sullivan, even Brandy. She's underrated. Um, you look at those that just could just flat foot stand there and wear you out. And those are singers to me. It
Yeah.
don't matter if they're backstage, it don't matter if they're in front of 5,000, it don't matter if they're in the kitchen cooking. When it hit them. And I just like those kind of people and
Sure.
people
Yes.
that give that kind of energy,
Give
you
you
know.
soul.
Yeah. And, and I think it's those that love the gift. We don't take it for granted.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So,
And enjoying what you do. So yeah, you have definitely given us just your whole world as it relates to your musical abilities and your talents. Do you have any shows coming up?
I have a few private ones coming up. We had one in Sacramento, but it was postponed.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be during the holidays. I'm looking forward to that. It was going to be myself and Bo Barrington from the Temptations. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that one coming back up.
Okay.
But a lot of the things I have coming up right now are more private gigs.
Okay.
So, we have some other stuff we have working on for New Orleans, as well as I believe DC, which I'll have news on those in the next few weeks. But
Nice.
as of
Okay.
right now, we're doing the doing that stuff, and of course, working on finishing this project up. So stay tuned for that.
Stay
And
tuned for
hopefully, I can
that.
come to Virginia by you soon.
Yes. If not, I'll catch you in DC. It's not that far.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. That's going to be so, so dope. So keep us abreast on all of those activities. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an afternoon, evening, early evening with the baritone voice of Jay Henry. Also his music as the Journal on his social media, but as he shared, he has Ecstasy out. So please check that out. All for Love. Am I saying that correct?
All your love.
All Your Love is now
Yes.
out. So please check.
Ecstasy, yeah.
See, that's all we need to say, and we can just cheers it up.
Oh yeah.
Yes, thank you so, so much for joining Champagne and Conversations. And we look forward to your music. We look forward to listening to the amazing saxophones that you play. So, so, so dope. And congratulations, much success
Thank
to you,
you.
and keep us abreast so we can follow you and come out and check you out.
Absolutely. You talking about me. I'm sure the young men running after you too
Oh no.
now.
No. Hang with us just a moment. We'll take you out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Henry, Champagne and
Thank
Conversation.
you. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening.
Hang with us just a second.